And we are live, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. Good morning, good evening, and wherever the sun may find you while Josh plays guitar. My name is Walt, and this is Coffee and Concepts on Keystroke Medium, and somehow I wrangled the boss. How are you, sir?
Very good, very good. I'm almost awake now.
Mr. Josh Hayes, after the frantic text messages like, shit!
Son of a bitch! I'm coming! Down the stairs.
Right.
Like almost slipping in your bare feet, trying to get somewhere.
Tripping on children and toys. And
yeah, pushing them out of the way. I got stuff to do.
I face masked like two kids heading for the end zone. That is fantastic. I see the Black Rifle coffee cup. What kind of coffee are you drinking?
I am drinking. It's a blend that my buddy ships. It's an African kahawa blend, and it's marked medium and dark, and I think that means that it's in between. I'm not sure.
Most likely.
And it's his brand is Outdoorsman Coffee. There we go. Outdoorsman Coffee. And he's a big he's like a kayak fisher. I don't know what the proper term is, and he does a lot of that, and he runs his own fishing outdoor kind of a podcast. He also does like a military podcast. And then so this is his call. He does a whole bunch of things.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I love brewing coffee like out in when you're camping and stuff like that, bringing along like an old style brewer and then watching everybody get upset. I got grit in my teeth. It's supposed to be like that. Enjoy it.
And they're like, I wanted coffee 5 minutes ago, not half an hour from now.
Hold on. I'm still rubbing the sticks together.
I do coffee like that, but when I go camping, it's in a camper. So I just turn on the coffee pot.
Joaquim Oliveira, my brother from another mother, saying Valor of Kai Fisherman is the technical term.
That is true.
I cannot wait for this COVID stuff to be over because Joaquim lives right down the street from my little brother, and
nice.
like one state over.
Yeah.
And I am going to go visit. We're going to all have lunch. And we were going to set something up, and then COVID happened, and it's like if I go to Massachusetts for 30 seconds and like even stick my tongue out at somebody or like flip them off or something, I have to be quarantined for 2 weeks.
Oh my God, yeah, that's dumb.
So,
well, me and my wife were just talking about this last night, going off on a rant. And it's we were talking about schools and how our like my kids are starting next week, and I did a freaking happy dance for that because I'm like, get out. But like my ex-wife's kids, or my ex-wife, she's a teacher, and my other two kids are only going to school twice a week, and then they have a online day, and I don't know what they're doing the other 2 days. But I'm like, if they're good to go 2 days, then they're good to go 5 days. And it's crazy, like and I love teachers to death, but they all are like, we can't go teach because it's not safe. And I'm like, so firefighters can't go to work, and cops can't go to work, and nurses and doctors can't go to work, and like garbage men and like construction workers and warehouse workers, all those people, they can't go to work because it's not safe. Like, just stop, go to work and teach the kids. That's most important.
Yeah. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face.
Right.
Don't lick the door handles. That's my job.
Yeah.
How many times can you get Josh to cough on his coffee?
Yeah, usually that's Scott's job.
Well, is that because his computer's blowing up on him?
Yeah, normally yes. But when I know that, then I have a preemptive text string of like 17 angry texts, and I'm like, okay, this call's gonna be no coffee in my hand, so I'm.
I have when I joined my little brother, he's putting together a what do you call it? like a horror movie podcast.
Oh, okay,
and you know, he was all excited because he's got these like 3D manipulation software, so he can do like cool intros and stuff. And you know, we always talk about like he loves the part where like the axe murderer gets the first teenager that, you know, is going to be their victim, but then all the plot development that occurs in between the next victim, he's just like, oh, can't they just die already?
Just kill him.
So I always hit him with one of these, like across the bottom of the screen, you know, the plot development streamer. Just when he's about to drink his coffee, and he always puts some Tennessee in his coffee, so he's got that like burning shooting out of the nose that is just fantastic.
Right, it's the best feeling ever.
Oh my God. So speaking of burning and shooting out of the nose, the Dragon Awards nominations were announced.
Yeah,
that was supposed to be a thing about dragons, not so much about shooting whiskey infused coffee out of your nose.
It's a great segue. I think it was
blunt force, my specialty. So we have this ballot, and this ballot is just like is crazy.
I couldn't believe it when I saw it.
What were some of the first things that went through your mind? First of all, did you do the keystroke medium cheerleader dance of appreciation?
I honestly, I truly did. I truly did. And that's very fuzzy. Why is it fuzzy? That's weird.
Strange.
So interestingly enough, the day that I found out, I was out on the boat with Scott, and it was just us two out on the lake. Oh, there we go. Now it's not fuzzy. Oh yeah, there's me. Hi, me. Hey. So when you are nominating, there's an open period to nominate for the Dragons Awards, and then it shuts down. I think it's the week before August or something. It's like July something. It closes. And then they tabulate everything, and then they say the ballot will be out the first week of August, and we're going to email the nominees beforehand to A, make sure that they want to still accept the nomination, and then B, just to let them know. And so I honestly, I didn't think I was going to get the nom, but every time my email went off, I would run to my phone and pick it up and go, "Is this a Dragon Award?" I'd set it down. And so I was telling Scott out on the boat, I'm like, you know, we're really close to the beginning of August, and I haven't got an email yet. I probably haven't got the nod, but every time my email goes off, I check it anyway. And while we were out on the boat, my phone went off like 12 times. I jumped out of the water. No. Okay. So we got home, and I'm doing stuff after the lake, getting cleaned up and stuff. And my phone goes off. I'm in the bathroom. My phone goes off. I look at it. I see Dragon Award on the thing, and I like tap it, and it's like, you've been nominated. And I just start yelling. I start like slamming my fist down on the counter, like, yeah. My wife is terrified. She's, what's wrong? Like, I got the nomination, and she's like, I don't know what that means, but like she's going nuts. Like the kids come in and they're jumping up and down. It was a really, really cool thing to see the email. And then it was super hard to sit on it for a week.
Right on.
And then Monday, when they're supposed to announce the nod and they don't, like I'm like sitting there going,
Fozzie Bear from the Muppets.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and the guy who I emailed him back that Monday evening, and I said, hey, weren't you going to announce? And he's like, yeah, we had some problem there. I guess they're partnering with the Fulton County Library for something. And the library wasn't completely set up on that Monday, so they pushed it to Tuesday. But you look at that list, man. Like Nick Cole, Jason Onspach, Marco Clue, Spare Ross, Christopher Ruccio, Zoe. I don't know how to pronounce that last name. Zyja?
Looks like Vieja.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought too.
He told me how to pronounce it.
Yes, good job, Kitty. I mean, that's a massive list. I can't imagine. Like, I look at it and I'm like, that's not real, right? Like, it's just me. Like, just one book. It's crazy. I am glad, however, that it happened with Edge of Valor, because it was my first solo work, and that was important to me. And So the fact that it even got the nomination is just, it blows me away, and I couldn't be happier. I'm thrilled that people love the book that much. And so I don't know, we'll see. I'm telling everybody to vote. I'm pushing like every other day. People are gonna get sick of me pushing it. It's like election time, and they're just talking about the election 24/7. That's pretty much me. But I'm not like scheming and double talking and stealing kids' lollipops. I'm just saying to go vote for my book. Maybe I should do that.
That you have maybe 13 cents for everybody who votes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
William Joseph Roberts says, "Morning, y'all." And then he was like, "I feel you, Josh. Knew I didn't have much of a chance with Widowmakers, but I was still hopeful and watching for that email."
Oh yeah, it was stressful, man.
And of course, we have our super good friend Rick Partlow.
What's
saying,
up,
hi.
Rick? Can you believe how good Rick's books are doing, man?
Oh
His
my
Drop
God,
Trooper books are killing it.
Now he has one. I don't know if they released it yet. I got to read it in beta.
Nice.
Just putting it out there. If people need some like beta reading, I kind of love everything with the blemishes. But it's so good. And then right after that, he's like, I got this little thing called Drop Trooper. Would you mind taking a peek? I'm like, yeah, I'd love to take a peek. I was like, this is amazing.
It's awesome because like meeting, like, so we first met Rick back in the first 20 books, and I think we knew him before because of the show, but we met him for the first time in Vegas, and a super nice guy. And
he's super awesome.
Like
when you talk to him, just a super cool dude.
Oh yeah. And he's worked so hard he's published 40 freaking novels. And so like talk about the overnight success, right? Like 40 freaking novels. But then last night when I'm looking on Amazon on the on military sci-fi, on the first page, I'm looking for something new to read, and like 5 of the books in the top 20 on the first page are Rick Partlow. Right. And it's all the same series. And I'm like, that's amazing. Have
you tried Drop Trooper yet?
I downloaded it last night, and I'm finishing Sphere, actually, coincidentally.
Gotcha.
I'm finishing Sphere, and then as soon as I thought I was going to finish it last night, but I fell asleep. So I'm going to finish it tonight, and then I'll start Drop Trooper.
Yeah. Rick was saying that the book that he let me read, they haven't released it yet, but it is like one of those books where you think it's going to go one way, and all of a sudden the other way, and you're like, this is, and you keep thinking that just when you can't get any more whacked. He one ups himself, and just the book is just one of those. Rick does a good job of like sucking you into his characters and into his world. So yeah, good deal. But once again, going back using my blunt force segue. Well, nothing really in this room is blunt, but so back to the Dragon Award
around here somewhere. Yeah, here we go. Like I got that.
Yeah, we got some of the big weapons around here. Mostly the cat. I'm trying not to hit the murder button because he's in my lap.
Yeah.
But the thing I really liked about Edge of Valor was it, in a populated kind of like space of books where Space Marine seems to be king. It was nice to see Edge of Valor come out because it was that military investigation, like what is it? Courage Under Fire and all those kind of books where you are seeing the actions of military operations, but you're seeing them in hindsight because there had to be an investigation because something went horribly wrong.
Right.
And while we never want to see that kind of thing, first thing that comes to mind, Pat Tillman. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
100%. Or some of the things that happened during Operation Red Wing. It's just, you just sit there and you're just like, oh my God, dear Lord. But you never want to hear those things happen, but they do make for engrossing stories because, as these trials and investigations and those kinds of stories progress, you learn what happens as the protagonist learns, which is kind of a neat way to do it.
Well, I think that was like exactly what you're saying is why I wrote it the way I wrote it, because I while I like, I'm going to use a movie comparison. While I like Michael Bay's like Transformers and all his other action movies with a whole bunch of explosions and gunshots and stuff like that, I also like slower movies like Courage Under Fire, even Black Hawk Down, which is crazy. It's an action movie all the way through, but there's a lot of that movie that is like really truly character development. Like with the guy that loses his hearing and he's sitting there with the 60 and he's going back and forth with his partner. Like that was a great scene. And so actually those two movies is what I based Edge of Valor on. And
Right on.
I wanted to do a book that was not just shooting, action scene, shooting, action scene, shooting, action scene. And I also wanted to see, like, for the same reason that people don't like flashback novels, like where they start in they start at the end where somebody's hurt or near death,
just dragging them onto the plane to get out of there.
Yeah, and then it flashback to the beginning of the mission, and you have to find out where they get there. A lot of like people like that trope is not really popular. But I wanted to see if I could write a novel that what is already known, what happened. Well, the mission failed. That is what happened, and we already know that. What I wanted to do is, hi, Boulder. What I wanted to do
He's very upset.
Is write a novel where the what was known, but the why and how weren't. And I wanted to see if I could make the why and how more important than the what. And hopefully it worked.
Yeah, I was very excited to read that when it started, when you were talking about writing it, just because of the fact that you kept talking, especially on the show, about the unreliable narrative that was going on, because what's the thing that the TV show House says? Everybody lies.
Everybody lies.
And everybody's got their own version of things. It's kind of like, you got four blind men standing around an elephant. Everybody's going to say it looks like something different.
Hell, you could put four people that can see in a room and tell them to describe it, and they'll give you something. I'm going to fill my coffee cup up. I can still hear you, though.
Yeah. Is that something that your time in the police kind of prepared you for, about dealing with unreliable witnesses and narrative, because you have to see it so much in your job?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because not everybody is like an outright liar where they're just telling you an untruth. Most of the stories are like 80% truth, 20% lie. And those are the stories that are hardest to figure out, because it's not like they're saying, oh, I was over here, but they weren't over there. Like, it's like, I was over there, but I was actually upstairs, not downstairs, that kind of thing. And so like that type of lie is hard to detect and hard to root out. And with Valor, Edge of Valor, I wanted to do originally I had it planned to do in a courtroom, and Jack Fisher's bit was going to be in a courtroom, and he was going to be an investigator there. But I thought that it was better to have him in the action and doing the interviews in a non-formal setting, and then also doing the lies, but also doing exaggerations too. So like one of the characters, Wallace, he is a liar, but he also tells the truth in some bits. He just embellishes a whole lot, which people do all the time. So that was really fun to do. I really enjoyed that.
And some of those situations where he was interviewing people, the interview was made infinitely more tense because of things that were going on around where they were being interviewed. So it's just very, very creepy. Rick wants to know, ask Joss if he pictured Fisher as Denzel Washington.
So I based his character off to Denzel Washington, but I actually pictured him as I've got it in my Scrivener file. Now I can't think of his name. It's the guy on the only movie I can think about it is he was in Terminator Salvation as the guy that was a Terminator but didn't know he was a Terminator, and I can't think of his name.
The guy that was also in Clash of the Titans.
Yes,
the remake of Clash of the Titans.
Yes, God. I can't remember his name now for some reason.
It's going to burn my soul that I don't know this.
Yeah.
Because even though my wife makes fun of me, I actually like those movies.
What is his name?
But let's see, what do we got here? Cast. That IMDb. Nope, that's 2000. That's 1989. That's 81. That's not going to do us any good. Sam Worthington.
There you go, Sam Worthington. Yep, that guy.
So thank God for Google.
I actually had a whole cast of characters that I pulled from just Googling what I was looking for. And I pulled a whole bunch of famous actors and put them there was a show. I can't remember the name, but anyway, House. So House, in the second season, there was a black guy that came in there as the CEO, and he was like changing everything. Do you remember that?
I think so.
That I based Carter's character off that guy.
Oh, no
he's bald and kind of chunky, and he's very he's sarcastic.
Oh yeah, I love that actor.
Yeah, I can't remember his.
He's been on a dozen or more cop shows.
There was a secret agent show that he was on. Again, I can't remember. Let's see, main cast. Let's see, what was his name? Wasn't Charles Dutton?
He was cool as hell.
Great character.
Yeah, and like not like one of those corporate types who was all like it has to be my way or the highway. He would actually listen.
Right. Was it season 2 or season 3?
I am not knowing.
But it was season 2.
Do you do that a lot though? Do you base a lot of your characters when you envision them as you're writing them as like people you've seen in movies and stuff?
I do a lot, and I do because it's easier to describe them. Like for instance, I know we're jumping around books, but in Tranquility, there's a character that we've created that we're not going to use until like book 2, and she's going to be a POV in book 3. But I based her off of the chick that plays Marjorie Tyrell, but her character in
Natalie Dormer,
but her character in the Hunger Game movies, where she's got like half her head shaved off.
Yeah,
and she's like super badass, and she's got like the hair that's I had the image in my head, and then I just went and found that. And then use that as a baseline for description. It helps out a little bit. Like every little bit helps. Like I was writing a dropship scene yesterday, and Devin and I spent like an hour figuring out what our dropships look like. And once we figured it out, I had to leave it on the screen while I was writing the scene so I could see where everybody was going and not screw it up.
That's fantastic.
Pictures help me.
Yeah. Did you? BattleTech dropships used to weird me out because they were just these giant like spheres with just rockets on the bottom.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, could you imagine like how do you I mean, I know they had retro rockets to try and keep them stable.
Yep.
But like it was a mobile hangar basically that they would just drop from these massive transport ships. And I'm just like, could you just imagine if one of those stabilizer rockets went out? It's a big ball. It's just gonna tumble. We actually designed ours.
It's the turbines are it's like a quadcopter setup where there's 4 turbines, kind of like an Osprey where the engines turn like this, but there's 4 of them, 2 in front, 2 in back, and the main body fuselage, the front half is like a C5 Galaxy.
Oh wow.
Well, it's actually like the front quarter is like a
so
C5
like it's got the flip up nose.
Well, instead of coming out the front, it comes out the side. The ramp comes out of the side there, and on the nose, on the military version, there's a big mount for like a chain Gatling gun or whatever. And maybe not a C5, but like a C-130. It's not that big. C-130. And then the back 2/3 are like those heavy lift Skyhook helicopters that have an open thing. And ours, it's an open thing, except that the sides and the deck of the aircraft can fold under and then seal. And so if you have like personnel or stuff that you need to carry in, you can seal that and fill the inside space. Or if you have big things, you can open up the door. Like they have big cargo containers because they're going to this new planet. They have these huge cargo containers. They can just set the cargo containers inside that open space and then carrier 2-3 down. And then at the back half, there's a little small, almost like the back of a C-130, and the ramp comes out of the back, and there you can have more stuff back there. But when we designed, it took us like almost like an hour and a half to get to that point. and so once we did, we were like, okay, let's just make everything, let's make it right and just lock that in, because that's
right
cool.
Yeah, those Skylifter, especially dropping full connexes and cargo boxes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it can just save you so many times and trips of just, all right, take it from this connex, put it in the helicopter so we can transport it. Take it out of the helicopter, put it in this building. You just drop the connex there and you're good to go.
It's there. Yep, exactly.
Those and the, oh God, now I can't remember the Chinooks. Chinook helicopters,
yes.
And when somebody told
Those
me
things
that
look
was
like they shouldn't fly at all.
Exactly, right. But when somebody told me that is the fastest helicopter in the Army inventory, and I was like, what? And they're like, well, think about it. It's made to move heavy equipment. He's like, but the body actually weighs nothing. So this giant engine on this body that weighs nothing. He goes, he said, take a Duramax engine and put it on a moped. I was like, okay, I get your point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta tell you, the Ospreys, I rode in one of those the year that they released them.
Yeah.
And there was all this like freaky, like, oh, don't ride an Osprey. 35 Marines died testing one of these things. And I'm like, oh God.
Right.
And of course we get there, the Marines are running it. And the first thing I get is this like ginger crew chief who flips up the visor of her helmet, jumps out, and she's like, all right, everybody on the bus. Nobody gets left behind. We're going hot and dirty. Make it happen. And like we all like just struggle to get in the seats. She sits there, grabs the mic, blah, 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 blah. She points to everybody, making sure we're cool, drops her thing, gets behind the 240 Bravo, yells out, woo! And that thing shot in the air like those amusement rides where you just sit and it's on like a space needle.
Yes.
That's what it felt like.
Nice.
And then when the rotors tilt to go forward so that you got more thrust than you have lift.
Yep.
The whole body shakes and you're like, what the hell is this?
And they're like, is this normal? And they're like, yes, it's perfectly normal.
It's going to come apart. Rick was saying that a friend of his had a controlled crash landing in an Osprey in the stand.
I love the phrase control crash land. Like that is like my favorite thing. That's like, it's like controlled chaos or whatever. Like it's like you're crashing. Yeah. But it's fine.
Did you mean that? Yes, I did accidentally on purpose.
Yeah, it's good.
So speaking of all this military technology, you've been talking up your latest project with Devin, which is Tranquility. Can you give us a pitch?
Oh man. So if Edge of Valor was like my pinnacle career move, and that was like my novel that I wanted to write, Tranquility like surpasses that. Like this project is it's amazing. It's super fun to write, and in the way that I wrote Edge of Valor was limiting in what I could do in scope and everything else. Tranquility is nothing like that. I can literally do whatever I want in Tranquility, and we can make it happen. Tranquility is a basically you take the style of mechs that you would have in the game Titanfall. And listen, YouTube Titanfall trailer and watch those things, because that is the stuff that we're doing in the books. And if you watch that and you get amped up by watching the trailer, then you'll get amped up in our books, because that's what we're doing with it. But it's basically it's the mech style, which we call rigs in Titanfall, mixed with kind of the lore / aliens of StarCraft. And taking some of those concepts and melding them together. And right now we have one book is about 90% complete. We call that's Blood and Steel, which is book 1. Book 2, which is tentatively called Enemy of My Enemy, but I don't know if that's going to stick. I'm about 60% through the planning process of that. And I'm stuck on a plot point. So that always takes me the longest time to work out. We're having a lot of fun creating it. It's the first truly 50-50 collaboration that I've done. And what I mean by that is the other 2 collaborations that I've done, which is Strikers War and the Terra Nova Chronicles. With Strikers War, that's my book, it's my plot, it's my idea, but it's in Nick and Jason's universe. So I was limited on what I could do, and I had to make sure it matched up with canon and all that stuff. In the Terra Nova Chronicles, that is Richard Fox's Ember War universe. Again, limited on what I can use, and then the story, which started out mostly his, then kind of became more of mine, but it's still in his thing, and it was more of a 60-40 or 70-30 type of collaboration. This one is a true 50-50 where Devin and I are both equally fielding ideas, and the way we have it set up is just very different from a lot of collaborations. I think is that I am not a fast writer, but I can plan out on notebook paper, which is crazy. This is all of book 2 right now, and I don't know if I can get the right angle, but that's all of book 2 right there, 60%. And then book 1 is this notebook, but it's also this notebook because I had to fix some stuff. So I'm a really big planner, as everybody knows, and I like planning out books, and I can see the plot like I'm looking down on it, like the overview, and I can see this happens because of this happens, and this happens because of this happens. I just can't write very fast. Devin is a freaking ridiculously fast writer. Yesterday, he put 10,000 words on Tranquility.
And he was holding a baby and driving a car at the same time.
Exactly. And so our plan, our goal was to work off our strengths. We both field the ideas. We talk about where we want the books to go. He came to me with the idea for Tranquility with the first 40,000 words. I read half of that and said, I know where you're going. Let's work it out. And then we scrapped almost all of his 40,000 words and started from scratch. It worked out ridiculously well. And it's fun because we'll talk a couple hours a week, and he'll come up with an idea, and then we'll build it, or I'll have an idea and he'll come up with a different way to accomplish it. And even talking on Messenger, he'll have an idea and he'll say, dude, what if we do this? And I'm like, yes, let's do that. There it is. Tranquility. We had another header image up there the other day, and I thought, if this thing starts getting more traction, I don't want to get any trouble with having the Titanfall image on that. So
getting sued.
Yeah. So we took the Titanfall image off and just put just kind of a generic thing up there. It works.
I gotta know one thing though.
Yeah.
What caliber are those rounds that are standing in for the eye?
I think those are 5.56, but I'm not sure because I just took them off of a template of bullets and cut them out. But
now, do you guys use metric in the Tranquility universe?
Yeah,
you bounce back and forth.
So the first book, it's not really a spoiler, but the first book is that they're not set up as a military operation. They're going there. Basically, Tranquility is a planet. It's a planet that we have found that's similar to Earth. And this is set after Earth has gone through the Third World War. There's a lot of bad things happening on the planet. And so Tranquility is found, and we want to colonize that world. The book starts as the second colony mission is leaving to go out there. The first mission has been out there for a number of years, and it basically, they go into cryo sleep. 2.5 years later, they wake up and they're there. But when they wake up, they get all these messages from Earth that say, we've lost contact with the colony. And then they get these recordings of these things that happen. And so when they get there, they kind of have to jury rig their stuff. So they don't have military. We designed all the stuff in Tranquility to be modular because of the colonial aspect of the story. You're not just going to have one thing that does one thing. That doesn't make any sense. You have to have one thing that does 10 things in order for it to work properly.
Like a Gerber tool.
Exactly. And so that's kind of why we designed the dropship the way we did. Module in the fact that it can carry people, colonists, or it can carry cargo. In answer to Rick's question, no, but I think we know who we're going to use, and hopefully it's going to come out really well. So
I got to know the messages that the colonists get. It's that there was another Kardashian wedding, and that sent everything to hell, right?
Yes, just threw everything into chaos. Yeah.
Okay. And before you continue, I just want to point out that Josh down below in the notebook image looks like he is staring approvingly at the Tranquility.
He is. He likes that. I love that you did that. That one. My wife posted another one the same day of a ridiculous shirt that I picked out. Basically, that picture comes from a video me and my buddies were sharing. That's it's like a dad life meme video. And you have to get like the white shoes with the calf high white socks, short shorts, and a ridiculous t-shirt. And my buddy was like, you don't have hair one if you don't go do this. And I'm like, okay. So I went to Walmart, I spent $30 and I got a fanny pack and all that stuff, put it on. And I walked into the house, walked straight to the bedroom, closed and locked the door. My wife was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, don't worry about it. And
I say that I get tased.
Yeah. So I come out and she is like, what are you doing? You're not going out like that. And I'm like, yes, I am. And she's like, no, you're not. And I'm like this. I just stand like this. I'm like, yes, I am. And so anyway, yeah, that's where that came from. The shoes, ironically, not comfortable at all. The Walmart white shoes are not comfortable.
Oh God, I cropped the image. I had it all set up, and oh well,
Womp, womp, womp.
Yeah, sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the windshield.
So yeah, Tranquility. It's going to be fun. There is going to be they're all veterans. Most of the people that go there are all veterans. There is a paramilitary aspect to the control brass that are in charge of the second mission. But like I said, they're not going there to fight a war. They're not going there to do anything except expand and enhance the colony. So they're not equipped to deal with the stuff that they find when they get there. But as the series progresses, it's going to kind of move into that area where they're going to have like more advanced military weapons, and they're going to have the capabilities that you would have in a regular armored rig. And the rigs that they have are modular, obviously. So the cool thing that we came up with was, instead of having one rig that does something, you have a rig that can do multiple things depending on what attachment it is wearing. And so as the arms are a module, you just basically slide your arm into the module that you want to use. It attaches, and then you can use it. And that modular way of doing things comes into play later on with a really cool action scene. And it's really cool to design the tech and have a good idea for it. But then Devin comes from left field and goes, but what if we do this? And I'm like, absolutely. Let's figure it out. So that when the book comes out, and it's not a spoiler, there's a scene that he probably wrote it yesterday, actually. There's a scene at the end of the book where he has this great idea. It was like he said it and I got goosebumps, and I was like, that's kick ass. And he's like, yeah, I know. And we were super excited about it. But he's done that like 3 or 4 times with some of the scenes where it doesn't really
That's awesome.
change the what's happening, but it makes it like it ramps it up to like level 10, and you're like, that is kick ass.
So when could we expect to see book 1?
Book 1 is almost done. I think we're at 93,000 words. We're aiming for 120. I think I've got 4 or 5 chapters left to do, and whether I finish them myself or Devin jumps in and finishes them for me. Basically, the process is I write right now. I'm writing a one POV and he's writing another POV, and then we piece them together. But after all the writing is done, I go back through and I do a dev edit and an edit on the book. And basically make it all sound the same.
Right on.
And then once that is done, then we'll send it off to the editors at Athon. We're hoping for an end of the year release, unless we can do it faster, because we want to try to do a rapid release. And so once book 1, the writing of it should be done in a couple of weeks, I think. And then I'll start the edits. And then once the edits are almost done, then we'll have an open call for some beta readers and an advanced team, because we want to kind of have it. We think that if we launch this correctly, it could hit big. And we think that the type of story that it is and what we've done with it is different enough that it's going to be unique in the genre, but then cool enough that, like, you know, people from Galaxy's Edge are going to come over and read it. People from the Frontline Books, Marco Cluse audience are going to come read it, because it's that type of expansive book. And the great thing about doing it this way and me being able to sit and plan the series is that we've got hey James, we've got a shit ton of lore already mapped out for the books that we're seeding in the first. There are some characters that we're seeding in the first book that you won't see until book 3.
That's awesome.
And one of the characters we're seeding in the first book, you'll see in book 2, but what we're really doing is setting that character up for something epic to happen in like book 5. And so like we're setting all this stuff up already so that when it happens, it's, what would I say? It's surprising but inevitable, and it's not like Deus Ex, right? So like all this stuff is really cool. I've got pages and pages and pages of notes, and we've got a folder on Google Docs that is just filled with, well, let's do this and let's do this and let's do this. And we're not even done with book 1 yet. Leave all that stuff alone. But yeah, so probably the end of the year, I think. And for the beta team, just if you go to our Tranquility Facebook group, it's a private group, but it's open. You can find it and just follow the group there. That's probably where we're going to do the open beta call, is in that group, if you're interested.
Right on. I might have signed up twice.
You're on the list, Walt. You're on the list.
Oh my God, I love mech stuff so much. I mean, when they came out with Pacific Rim, not exactly the kind of mechs that I enjoy watching, but just that first movie, because there is only one. That first movie was just that it was like rock and roll and mecha had a love child and then threw a rap battle in there, and I was just like, this is amazing.
Yeah,
so like anything like that, like I love Scott's Shortyverse.
I love that. Yep.
So I'm pretty hyped, like very hyped for this. In fact, I might be sending you illicit like oil can pics just to keep you going.
I think it's gonna be super fun, man. Like this is the first mech story that I've ever written, and we spent a long time trying to figure out the how the driving works, how we can make it so they're not slow and clunky mechs. They're mechs that can run, they're mechs that can jump and do super cool things, kind of like in the Transformers movies where they're very agile, but they're not robots, they're mechs. And so that was one of the fun things to do with this project.
Now, you don't look very like you have a lot of miles on the tires. So I'll ask this question, even though I bet you haven't, but maybe you have. Did you ever go to Vegas and get in a BattleTech simulator?
I have not.
Oh my God. The early 90s computer like game technology was just starting to get good.
Yeah.
And we had just gotten done with NTC. So a bunch of us went to from Fort Irwin to Vegas. and they had this. You had to take a 6-hour class, right? Afterwards, they gave you a flight suit, and you spent the next day in this thing the size of a building, in this giant, like, movable, like, pod. But
cool.
it was like this huge wraparound heads up display that made it look like you were in a mech. The actual interior was like being in an aircraft. So that's hence the 6-hour class, because you needed to know, because like
switches
this paddle right here, if you didn't know what this paddle did and you stepped on it, you're gonna do something stupid. So you had to train.
Right.
It was worth the, like, you know, the $900, 2 kidneys, and a promise to name my kid something funky in order to get into one of those.
I did not even know that it was a thing, but had I known that was a thing, I damn near would have spent the $900 to go do it.
It wasn't that much. It was something like 200, but I mean, and you got like,
but even then,
yeah, and that was in the 90s. But I mean, you got like a hot dog for lunch, but they gave you the flight suit. So
that's cool.
I was more excited about the hot dog.
Getting the free stuff is all that I'm like. I went to Clan Lab school with the ATF, and they gave, it was the FBI, and they gave us a whole, like, a box of, like, they say, we're going to send you a box of stuff, and you get this box, and it's got like boots and suits and masks and all that stuff, and you're like, I love the federal government, and then all the other stuff happened. I'm like, I hate the federal government, but anyway, give me free stuff.
That's fantastic. Are the people in the colonies going to get free stuff for going to the colonies?
No, absolutely not. They got to bring like a duffel bag of stuff.
Oh my God. So I'm going to start closing things out, because at some point I need to, Rick is saying, I wish I had done the BattleTech simulator thing. It was pretty cool.
That does sound really cool.
Of course, I got made fun of when I got back to my unit, just because they were like, wow, nerd much. You know, I was back before like all this pop culture started getting popular again.
Can you believe that nerd is actually cool now? Like, if I go outside and wear this hat, people are like, that's a really cool hat. I've got shoes. I've got Converse shoes that are painted in the style of an NES remote. And I got so many comments on those shoes. They're like, oh man, we're even in Vegas. I was waiting for an Uber, and an Uber driver drove by, and he stopped and he rolled down the window. He goes, and you can ask this, Scott will tell you that it's true. He goes, dude, where'd you get those shoes? And I'm like, I ordered them online. I don't know, man. He's like, those are kick ass. And then he drove off. And I looked at Scott. I'm like, see? So
it would have been better if he had let you get in.
Right? We're like, that's not our ride. Our ride's Raphael, and he's 5 minutes away.
Right on. That's fantastic. So people can go to Facebook and go to the Tranquility Blood and Steel Facebook group. If they just look up your name and then Tranquility, will it show up?
It should. I think it's the only Tranquility group, I think. But if you search Tranquility, that's the image that you're going to see. And let me see. Let's search Tranquility. It's probably going to come up for me because I am in the group. And then it does. So yeah, just type in Tranquility. You'll find it. It's actually, I think it's labeled Tranquility Fan Club. Yep, Tranquility Fan Club, and that's the only thing that comes up in my search. So it's probably going to be the super easiest to see is Tranquility Fan Club, and then we post updates in there. We post some concept art that has nothing to do with the book, just because I've actually started putting disclaimers on all of it, because I know eventually we're going to have like concept art that comes out that we're going to show. Right. And so I don't want anybody to be like, oh, those are cool images. And then we publish the book and they're like, that's not the image you had. But well, no, that's just, I used my Google Foo and found some really cool images. Right on.
Rick is saying Tranquility Group. The readers have landed.
The readers have landed. That's right.
That's right. So other than the group, if people want to stalk you, what's the best way to do it?
You can stalk me on Facebook, Josh Hayes. There's another Josh Hayes that's a biker, like a motocross racer. And he's the first one that comes up on Google if you don't type in Josh Hayes Rider. I'm going to have to fix that.
We could doctor his videos so that it's your face as he does the jumps.
And it like follows. Yeah, exactly. For years I'm like, coincidentally, joshhayes.com is open, but the company wanted like $5,000 for the URL, and I was like, nope.
Ugh.
So anyway, Josh Hayes Rider is my website. You can find me on Facebook Just type in Josh Hayes. I'm there. Or Keystroke Medium, and I'm in that group all the time. On Instagram, I'm the Josh Hayes, and then on Twitter, I think I'm Josh Hayes Writer, just at Josh Hayes Writer. So yeah, you can find me out there.
Well, I'm going to do our thing and remind everybody that you, Scott, and Chuck are on Monday, Keystroke Medium Live, where you guys get into various topics, sometimes roundtables, sometimes guests.
May or
right
not
now
be
you're doing
educational or just not.
But always fun. Right now you got some Scrivener action going on.
Yeah, yesterday was it? No, Monday we did a just an overall. This is how we do Scrivener and how to use it easy. And then this coming Monday we have Matt Herron coming on to do kind of an advanced Scrivener course. So if you're using Scrivener but you'd like to find out some more cool things about it, we're going to be talking about it on Monday. I think primarily we're going to be talking about the Mac version. But Matt will be able to go over the differences between the two. So it should be a fun show.
Right on, right on. Then, of course, Coffee and Concepts, whenever we can wrangle our guests, but normally on Tuesdays at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Even though they are on hiatus until September 1st, we got Kayleen and Lauren. Yes, I was just looking off as my cat was about to kick me in the jimmy. So I temporarily lost my train of thought. So Kayleen and Lauren are doing the Writer's Journey on Thursday nights. It's 9 p.m. Eastern. I think Lauren's on the East Coast, and I think Kayleen is Central Time, maybe
Central Time or Mountain Time. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Somewhere around there. But they dig deep into author subjects that help aspiring writers who are trying to get in the game and writers who are in the game improve their craft. Josh Gayu doing long form storytelling as he plumbs the depths of a certain subject for multiple hours, which makes for a long show, but you could always, take that in pieces because YouTube is pretty good about remembering your place. They have good bookmarks.
That's right.
We want to say thank you for 1,000 subscribers. Allows us to bring more content and allows us to do some cool things that will be coming up in the future once we figure out where they put the buttons.
Buttons are hard to find, man.
Right. Josh, thank you so much for coming out. I really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me on, man. I love being guests. I love being a guest on shows.
Well, we will guest and show you some more. Guys, don't forget to sign up for that Tranquility fan group. And with that, we're going to bounce because there's only so much reading, writing,